This is an older edition, well, it's the 5th edition of Pattern Making for Fashion Design by Helen Joseph Armstrong. And the ISBN on this one is 13 978-0-13-606934-8. This book originally was spiral bound. Catherine Hagen illustrated this one, and it's by Helen Joseph Armstrong. I like that this one comes with how to use a ruler, because I find that most students graduating from school in the last 20 years haven't had, and it's 2021, so we don't understand inches and fourths and fractions, and this one does have a page on that, but you could also watch a video about it, but it's helpful information. Some of the similar things that the others have. This one had patterns in the back to use. I usually will drape them on a little half-scale form to play with rather than using the ones in the book, because they don't necessarily fit the form that you'll be using. This gets into swimwear and children's wear and all kinds of, well, this edition doesn't have children's wear in, but the next edition does. So you always want to get the newest one that you can afford, but the old ones are great too, especially if you're just getting started. So pants. And sometimes drafting a pattern by measurements works really well. It works better for men, in my opinion, than women. Women have a lot more variables, but that has as much to do with size as it does posture and bone structure. We have a menswear section. Well, that's why we had the drafting the vest. Okay, so these are the more difficult sections. Sleeves, raglan sleeve, kimono sleeve, all of the other ones that are in some of the other books we've looked at. It's just easier to flip the pages going the other way. Kimono and raglan. Basic sleeves. This one's a good one for sleeves. Well, it's a good one for lots of things. That's why a lot of schools will use this one. Different skirts. This one has a variety of skirts. This is quite a thick book. It has a lot of information in it. Cowl necklines. But it doesn't really talk about truing things up or draping in the way that some of the other books do. Collars. This one talks about markers and grading just briefly. Just briefly. It just shows an example of it. It doesn't actually show you how to grade. So you get some helpful background information. We have some talking about body type. And that's why I like draping. You can end up with these two people might have the same measurements, but their posture is so different that they wouldn't be able to wear the same pattern. and then drafting from measurements. A little bit on fitting, but I don't think I'd go to this book for fitting so much as basic pattern drafting, or using a pattern that you've already draped and creating a pattern from it and then following the drafting instructions. How to make a basic sleeve, that one works quite well. Different bodice changes, options. Yes, this is a well-loved book. So it covers all the things, and the more recent editions have places for you to write your measurements down in, and a few other things added. So that was Helen Joseph Armstrong.